Okay. Whew. Hopefully this is better. I don't know what was happening with that last one, but it just was not working. Good morning, the effulgent one. Good morning. Julia Slauber joined the chat. Ronnie. Hope you all are thriving. But good morning, everyone. Kate, good morning. I love seeing all the happy faces in here. I love all of you. So I woke up this morning and I was scrolling through just some of the news headlines and I saw this. It is Friday, so I thought it would just be a fun thing to start out with to be a little bit more lighthearted. This is not like a major scandal or anything like that. This is just meant to be kind of funny. It would be just as funny if it was a kid that wiped a booger on Joe Biden's desk or Obama's desk. It would be just as funny. It's not meant to be serious, so don't get your little panties in a wad if you're one of these MAGA seal clappers that are like, shut up. Okay, this is just meant to be funny. Are you all laughing out loud as much as I am when seeing this? So, Trump sends Resolute desk, which is like the president's desk, out for refurbishment after Musk's son appeared to have wiped a booger on it. So President Trump, a reported germaphobe, by the way, announced that the Oval Office's historic Resolute desk, which for those of you who do not know, actually has a twin, that twin which sits in Buckingham Palace in the UK, anyway, had been sent away for refurbishment just a week after Elon Musk's 4-year-old son appeared to have wiped a booger on it. Trump made no mention of mucus or Musk's son in an announcement on his Truth Social account Wednesday night, but just after 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, Trump informed his followers the desk had been sent away. Y'all, please make sure to send some likes. It really does help out the live stream, especially early on. If you think this is funny, send some likes. And let me do it with my little Trump hands. A president, after election, gets a choice of 1 in 7 desks. This desk, the C&O, which is also very well known and was used by President George H.W. Bush and others, has been temporarily installed in the White House while the Resolute desk is being lightly refurbished. A very important job. Very important. One of the most important. You've never seen a job more important. It's a stellar job. I mean, I love jobs. I love lots of jobs. Nose jobs. HAND job. I love lots of jobs, especially if it comes as Stormy Daniels or Melania. They're taking the jobs. I don't want them to take jobs anymore. This is beautiful, but a temporary replacement. The president did not offer a timeline for when the desk, which had been in the White House since 1880, would return to service. It is noteworthy that on February 11th, one of Musk's 3 children with Canadian singer Grimes accompanied his father for a joint presser in the Oval Office with Trump. Now, as a number of social media users noted at the time, the child also appeared to have rubbed his hand and potentially a booger on the president's desk. These are just some of the pictures. You all can go and actually look at the video itself. It's very plausible that he did, okay? It's very plausible that he did. You can see here, the kid picks his nose and appears to rub it on the desk. And what's also notable for those people who do not know is that Donald Trump, he's been described as a germaphobe before, which is interesting. I mean, I would want to have the desk out for refurbishment if I knew a kid wiped a booger on it, you know? I would probably want that too. It's just funny how that kind of thing happens. A number of social media users were pointing out, get little X some tissues, please. He used every finger he had for them booglets. I love how this social media user called them booglets. So people, of course, were commenting, being like, this is funny, you know, yada, yada. Anyway, that's just meant to be like a lighthearted little start to the day. And what I think is just so funny is I watched this video and it focused in on the kid, and Trump was just kind of like standing there being like, just looking over at him, just, you know, and it was just funny to me. Anyway, are you all ready for the next story? Shout out to all my moderators in here. Let's move on to our next story. Now, this might shock you. I'm about to talk about sports. What? Scott Johnson talking about sports? Well, yes, because there's also a political element to this. I'm an American. But I am very happy to have seen that Canada won against America in this tournament, whatever you want to call it. The United States recently elected Donald Trump, much to my dismay, who constantly jokes about trying to make Canada a 51st state. Because Donald Trump also posted on his Truth Social about it. Let's start with the facts here. Canada stuns USA 3-2 in overtime win as the four nations face off championship game. I'm not the biggest person to follow sports, okay? I like looking at the men watching sports than rather watching the game, watching the game itself. Because I'm gay and I'm like, ooh, you're a handsome shrimp. I want you to score a touchdown for me. We'll have a ball. I can go on with these puns. Anyway, I come from a family that watches hockey a decent amount. I'm in North Carolina, so naturally we cheer on for the Carolina Hurricanes. In fact, I actually even have a Carolina Hurricanes hat because I'm from North Carolina, so we're a little bit of a hockey family. So when I heard about this, I was like, oh wow, that's not going to go over well because Donald Trump is constantly trying to poke and prod Canada into becoming the 51st state. For those people who do not know, the 2025 Four Nations Face-Off was a tournament between the USA, Canada, Finland, and Sweden. It was a round-robin style where you had two teams faced off and then the winners of those teams faced each other. Well, it ended up being the United States and Canada toward the end. Donald Trump actually was not able to attend the game. He actually had like a 5-minute call with the USA team to, I guess, encourage them and cheer them on. And he even posted on his Truth Social saying, I will be calling our great American hockey team this morning to spur them on towards victory tonight against Canada, which, with far lower taxes and much stronger security, will someday, maybe soon, become our cherished and very important 51st state. Now pause. Nowhere in any of Trump's statements does he actually ever reference asking people in Canada what they think about joining the United States. Do we have some Canadians in here? I love my northern neighbors. Y'all are awesome. First off, I am so sorry that our country is antagonizing yours, okay? Like, I'm so sorry that our leader is so obnoxious. For all the Canadians in here, do you want to become a part of the United States? Do you want to? Now, this is not going to be a scientifically representative poll, but I can pull some up because Canadians don't want to join the United States. They don't. So why is Donald Trump obsessed with trying to do that? Because he's not focused on serving the American people. He's focused on expanding the territory so his best friend, lover, and actual president, Elon Musk, can start going with a pickaxe like in Minecraft to go and chop up Canada into pieces and loot them for their resources. It's so stupid. It's neo-colonialism. And MAGA, you're cheering it on like seals. How dumb can you be? Like Minecraft. No, like Minecraft. Donald Trump is like the little Minecraft guy with a pickaxe. He's like, this diamond pickaxe is one of the best pickaxes. You know, let me tell you, I love pickaxes. I love an axe. I love an axe like the body spray. Like the body spray. I love it. I love it. I'm just going to go in there and ding, ding, ding. Boom, boom, boom. Bong, bong, bong. Bing, bing, bing. But point is, Donald Trump, like, he has been constantly provoking Canada about trying to become the 51st state. That doesn't lower the price of your rent. That doesn't lower the price of your prescription drugs. That doesn't do anything to materially benefit Americans whatsoever. Whatsoever. I want a leader that's going to do something for the American people, not just invade other countries. You know, some people are like, I'm voting for Trump because he's against war, as he pokes and prods Canada, Greenland, in war endlessly. All the time. Girl. Like, Anyway, it goes even further. I will be speaking before the governors tonight in D.C., and I will sadly, therefore, be unable to attend, but we will be watching, and if Governor Trudeau would like to join us, he would be most welcome. Now, pause. I'm not like the biggest fan of Justin Trudeau. I am a super progressive Democrat. I guess the Liberal Party is something that I kind of gravitate towards, even though I'm American. You don't call someone he's not a governor. He's a prime minister. He's a prime minister. He purposely is calling him governor because he wants Canada to become the 51st state. It's so provocative, annoying, and drama-seeking. Yet, this is the person that we elected, right? Ugh. I love how Canada beat the United States. And I'm saying that as someone that is United Statesian. We had a whole discussion yesterday around, you can say America, but you have North and South America. So technically a lot of people who reside on the continents of North and South America are by definition American. So I think I'm going to try to start using United Statesian more, but it kind of sounds silly. Anyway, as an American or United Statesian, I'm happy that Canada beat us. Because the United States, as much as I am supposed to, as someone in the United States, claim that we're like the hero, our leader is constantly provoking their northern best friend and neighbor to just give up their sovereignty and join our country, or they're going to be invaded. Like, it's so dumb. You ask any Canadian in here, any Canadian, they're like, we don't want to become a part of the United States. Why would Canadians want to become a part of the United States? Why? So they can be victims of the gun violence epidemic too? We want to be shot. No. Canadians don't want to have to come to America or be a part of America to pay for their health care. It's like, join America. You can go bankrupt over excessive health care fees as well. America. No. People in Canada don't want to join the United States. They don't. They want to have their freedom, their sovereignty. Like, when you just even look at any comment section of anything regarding this topic, Canadians are like, we don't want to be a part of the United States. I want to point out one of the reasons Donald Trump wants to take Canada is because he's claiming that we're losing billions of dollars a year, billions of dollars with trading with Canada. Whoever signed the deals with Canada in NAFTA, whoever signed these deals, needs to get a grip. Back in 2018, he signed the trade deals with Canada. So he's actually technically critiquing himself, but does he even realize it? Who knows? This is what Donald Trump said. We lose $200 billion a year with Canada, and I'm not going to let that happen. It's too much. Why are we paying $200 billion a year, essentially, in subsidy to Canada? Now, if they're the 51st state, I don't mind doing it. So if they're a state in the United States, you wouldn't mind... Hold on, just breaking this down. You wouldn't mind spending that amount of money if they were a part of the United States. So what you're saying is it's really not even about the money that you're angry about, it's that they're not a part of the country. You can't say that the reason I'm upset about something is the money and then cite something else and then claim that it's still the money. Like, it's not how that works. Pointing this out, no, we do not lose $200 billion a year. We don't do that as the United States. The way the United States and Canada, they trade, we as the United States buy raw materials and resources from Canada, particularly oil, gas, lumber, maple syrup, stuff like that. And then we manufacture it. One of the biggest things that we get from Canada is oil. And we will use, our oil refineries are here in the United States. We will buy oil from them. What you're seeing right here, $200 billion a year, this is just the trade deficit. Go and just look at the Bureau of Economic Analysis, an official website of the United States government. You just go and look at the actual raw numbers. It's just the trade deficit. Like, we will import more than we export. You can look at the trade deficit. It's right here. So here are all just the numbers. Again, the U.S. is not subsidizing Canada. The U.S. buys products from the natural resource-rich nation, including commodities like oil, while the trade gap in goods has ballooned in recent years to $72 billion in 2023. The deficit largely respects America's imports of Canadian energy. Trump has repeatedly suggested that Canada would be better off if it agreed to become the 51st state, a prospect that is deeply unpopular among Canadians. Trudeau said during a closed-door meeting session with business and labor leaders that Trump's talk of making Canada the 51st state was a real thing and that they are taking it very seriously. And I just want to point out that, like, there are lots of different creators that are making videos about this kind of stuff. And of course, I commented being in here, a war with Canada would be a huge waste of taxpayer dollars. Better tell Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency. Oh, wait. Yeah, him. Yikes. Leave Canada alone, said by an American. Gonna be awkward when half the country also starts fighting on Canada's side. Like, here's the thing. If the United States does truly invade Canada because they want Canada to become the 51st state, you're gonna have so many different people in the United States that are like, leave Canada alone. It's gonna make the United States even more of a laughingstock. When you survey Americans, they are not concerned with trying to expand our territory. They are concerned with lowering the prices of prescription drugs. They are concerned with incentivizing and bringing domestic manufacturing back, and particularly putting up a lot of programs for clean energy production so that we can tackle climate change and also economically boost our population. People in America are concerned about healthcare access and greedy CEOs who make money off of denying people healthcare. Why else do you think Luigi Mangione is so popular? People are not concerned with trying to take back the Panama Canal after we built it and decided to diplomatically give it to the country in which it's overseen in. Americans are not preoccupied. They do not care about us expanding our borders. That is just a manufactured thing that Donald Trump is trying to get you to care about because he wants to give handouts to his billionaire cronies. Stop letting the media control you, right-wingers. Think for yourself. Think critically. Think independently. Or are you too much of a seal clapper to actually think critically for yourself? Do you enjoy being a robot? Like, girl, think about it if it truly benefits you. Does expanding into Canada benefit you? Does that lower the price of your rent? Does that lower the price of your groceries? Does that lower the price of your prescriptions? No. Same way with immigration. These people think that the reason why things in America are so expensive is they're like, it's the immigrants, it's the trans people. Demonizing hardworking Marco, who just wanted to come to this country and has been waiting for 7 years to get a hearing in front of an immigration judge. Demonizing Marco does not lower the price of your prescriptions. It does not lower the cost of your rent. It does not do anything to tackle the price of groceries. No. Demonizing a trans person for using their pronouns of choice and getting their healthcare access does not improve your life at all. Instead, there are so many right-wingers that think, oh, if I just put down this person, it makes me seem better in comparison. That's childish behavior that we call out. We teach our kids that is dumb. Yet, all of a sudden, right-wingers decided to embrace that as their brand. Your brand is crap. Just saying. It's crap. Anyway, getting off topic. If you enjoy when I rant like this, then send some chilies. Anyway, Americans have to realize this. It will not be a war against Canada. It will be a war between NATO and America. Very true. Leave Canada alone. A war with Canada for no reason. As an American, I will help Canada. Is there a sign-up form for Americans who would fight on Canada's side for Canadian citizenship? In Michigan, would immediately support Canada. This is evident that this man has zero understanding about consent. As a Quebecois, I will fight for Canada, and that says a lot. Also, as a small tip for those people who do not know, for my United Statesians, other Americans in here, there's a province. They call them provinces. It's like states in America. There's a province in Canada, Quebec, and they predominantly speak French. And Quebec has been kind of flirting with the idea and actually mobilizing to become their own country, free of Canada. So when you read a comment like this, as a Quebecois, I will fight for Canada, and that's saying a lot. It is saying a lot because they're trying to distance themselves from Canada. They are seeing, yeah, there's a bigger enemy here, which is the United States. It's about resources. He doesn't want to pay for it, so he just wants to take it. He wants our water and our oil. Rooting for Canada. Does he know that he can't just make Canada a state? Like, make a whole country a state? Yep, he wants our minerals. He wants our minerals. Anyone thought he was just joking hasn't been paying attention. And also someone commented being like, just to point out that Canada's never lost a war. And I'm like, ooh. So going back to the whole sports thing here, I'm glad to see that Canada beat the United States because the United States kind of deserve to be beat. And I'm saying that as a United Statesian or an American. And it's just funny because in the end, I really think that there's going to be a whole swath of Americans, regardless of their political affiliation, that are going to be like, we really don't need Canada. Why? And again, it's about priorities. Where you devote your effort shows your priorities. For Donald Trump, his time is spent constantly provoking other countries to join the United States, like Canada. His priority is not trying to lower the cost of prescriptions for Americans, not tackling the price of groceries, not lowering the cost of housing, not doing anything to tackle the climate crisis or increase healthcare access. His priority is serving his soulmate, Elon Musk, who's our actual president. Donald Trump is just the figurehead puppet that says and does amazing, fantastic, incredible, outstanding things, you know? It's incredible. It's incredible. Someone said DEI. I thought they meant Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated or deport Elon immediately. I didn't know what DEI stand for diversity, equity, and inclusion. But when you're actually looking at it, this is having a huge backfiring effect because Canadian consumers are really starting to shift their behavior. Like, they are boycotting American products. There's also, our latest research points to rapidly growing desire amongst Canadians to buy local and in some cases to avoid American products entirely. It's not just talk. 42% of respondents say they will absolutely do everything they can to avoid buying products made in the United States or from American companies. And when we look at other statistics here, 84% of Canadians are considering buying more Canadian-made products. 34% of people surveyed canceled a trip to the United States, and 32% have considered canceling a streaming service subscription, like Netflix or Hulu. I'm saying this as an American, I full-heartedly support this. I am not an enemy of America, I'm an American, but when I see my country doing things to constantly violate the rights of other people, it is my job as an American to shape our response and our approach to stopping that injustice. Justice does not know borders. Okay, what is right and what is wrong is wrong. If you are constantly trying to dismantle and pressure another country to joining your country because of your greed to serve your billionaire cronies, that is wrong. It would be just as bad if this was Biden or Obama or Kamala Harris trying to pressure Canada into becoming the 51st state. It doesn't matter that it's Donald Trump. It's wrong. It would be wrong of France to constantly claim that they are just going to take Luxembourg or Belgium. You don't just take a country. That's not what you do. That's childish. Donald Trump is out here trying to play Risk with the world. No! That is a board game. That is a board game. If you want to play Risk, let's whip out the board, okay? We're not doing it with with actual countries. We're not doing that. And of course, Trump's tariffs are massively unpopular. Less than 1 in 4 voters think imposing tariffs should be a top priority. And I'm not going to talk about tariffs because I've done it excessively, but I just want to point out that of the people surveyed, there is a huge disconnect between what the American people want and Donald Trump's actions as president. The top priorities of Americans is trying to tackle rising costs. That's the top priority. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's biggest thing is trying to expand into Canada, trying to end birthright citizenship, constantly demonizing undocumented people. Because as you can see here, expanding the United States as a territory, like, there are very few people who think that should be a top priority, yet he focuses so much on it. And you can see here, these are Canadian TikTokers. They're like, yeah, bye-bye Americans. We're not going to be buying USA-made products anymore. Buy Canadian, eh? And I have some friends on here who are Canadian. And I full-heartedly support Canadians boycotting American products. Sure, that might hurt my country. How else are they going to fight back? How else are these Canadians going to tell America, hey, we don't want you to take over our country? They're going to hit us where it hurts, in our checkbook, in our pocketbook. And you know what's so funny? Donald Trump said that, oh, we're going to be so respected all over the world. All over the world, we're going to be respected. The United States will flourish and be respected again all over the world. Look at Colombia's favorability towards the United States plummets. Mexico, favorability towards the United States, plummets. Canada, favorability towards the United States, plummets. Brazil, favorability towards the United States, plummets. We will be respected again. Respected by who? By who? By who? All right, let's move on. Let's move on to our next story. Are you all ready? Please make sure to send some likes. I love all of you. Are you all familiar with birthright citizenship? If you're born in this country, then you're a citizen. Boom. That's it. Now, Donald Trump is seeking to take an axe at that because he hates undocumented people so much that he wants to carve those people out as, I guess, some sort of exception to that, which goes against the way the Constitution is written. So, Circuit Court rejects Trump's appeal of block on birthright citizenship order. So, on Wednesday, a panel of judges on the United States Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals refused a request from the Department of Justice under Donald Trump to block a lower court's stay on an executive order issued by President Donald Trump, which seeks to redefine birthright citizenship rights. So you're like, ooh, that was a lot. Basically, Donald Trump tries to get rid of birthright citizenship. A court stops it and says that it's unconstitutional. And what this is the next court above is saying, no, we're going to place an indefinite stay on them overturning Donald Trump's executive order, trying to get rid of birthright citizenship. So the courts are constantly saying, no, Trump, what you're doing is unconstitutional. And it is. And there's a separation of powers and there's checks and balances within our Constitution. What Donald Trump is trying to do is he is trying to overstep his boundaries and create policy himself. The job of the executive branch is to execute policy. That's why they're called the executive. Execute policy, not craft it, not make it. Execute policy. It is to carry out the laws. They have a limited amount of discretion on how those laws are carried out. For instance, a big expansion of the executive branch was the idea of the executive order, which the executive order was put in as a little bit of a creative attempt to legislate. And presidents, whether it is a Democrat or Republican, have been using executive orders to expand the reach of their powers. I'm saying this as a political science person. And it didn't matter if it was Obama or if it was Trump or if it was Biden. Doesn't matter. They're using executive orders as a way of kind of going around Congress. Now, the job of the judicial branch is to read the Constitution, read the U.S. Code, read the laws, and determine if Congress or the president are in violation of the law. Donald Trump trying to redefine what birthright citizenship is in the Constitution, the courts have ruled, is unconstitutional. This is a quick little summary, is that a judge placed an indefinite injunction against Donald Trump's birthright citizenship order, basically blocking the executive order from Donald Trump, trying to redefine what birthright citizenship is. And there was a request from Trump's Department of Justice for it to go up to another court. And that's where you have the circuit court rejects Trump's appeal on birthright citizenship. Now, what does it say in the Constitution? It says that all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. All persons born in the United States are citizens of the United States. Boom. Period. End of story. Doesn't matter if you are white, if you are black, if you are Asian, if you're Native American, if you are Latino, doesn't matter. So if there is a person born in the United States, they are a citizen by definition. It's how our Constitution was written. So for Donald Trump to try and redefine what the Constitution says without having any sort of action from Congress is a breach of the separation of powers and subject to the checks and balances of that. If they want to redefine what this is, there's a different way to go about it. This is just violating the structure of our government. And also, why are they so focused on something like this? It's because they are truly motivated by their hatred of undocumented people. They're so concerned with people who are undocumented having a kid here that then becomes a citizen, instead of actually solving the problem of these people being undocumented, vetting them, allowing them to come in. They're bypassing the root of the problem entirely. They're instead focusing on using prejudice as a way to legislate into what they think an action step going forward is. It's pure hatred. Why are they going after birthright citizenship? Racism. Pure, raw, end and simple. Guarantee you that if the majority of undocumented immigrants were white, they would not be doing it. They wouldn't. They'd find some other boogeyman. Maybe they'd focus even more on trans people. So it goes to show that right now Donald Trump is trying to supersede the actual judicial branch. And that is a threat to the separation of powers and checks and balances within our Constitution. Now, it's only going to get drier from here, and I'm just letting you know now. So there was a big night in the Senate last night. They were passing the budget. Families lose and billionaires win. Senate GOP, which GOP, for those people who do not know, and I don't blame you if you don't know, stands for Grand Old Party. It just means Republican. I wish they would stop using the GOP. Senate Republicans signal support for deep Medicaid cuts. Trump and Senate Republicans are showing who they truly care about as they slash the programs for families to line the pockets of their billionaire friends, said Democratic Senator Jeff Merkley. I want to show that the Senate approved a budget resolution early Friday morning after rejecting a flurry of Democratic amendments aimed at preventing cuts to Medicaid, school meal initiatives, and other programs. In this budget, there's a lot of different things. There's cuts to things, there are increases in spending in other ways. I'm going to be breaking down what some of that stuff in the budget is. Senate Republicans approved a budget resolution early Friday after rejecting a flurry of Democratic amendments aimed at preventing and stopping cuts to Medicaid, school meal initiatives, and other programs. Republicans in the House and Senate are moving in the direction of legislation that would slash critical programs to help fund trillions of dollars in tax cuts, which would primarily benefit the wealthiest Americans. Both chambers' resolutions would also increases in the U.S. military budget, which is approaching $1 trillion per year. By the way, Republican senators pushed through a $340 billion budget framework to passage early Friday, chugging through an all-night session and Democratic opposition in a step toward unleashing the Trump administration, says the money it needs for mass deportations, yada yada. And I want to point out that there were a lot of Democrat amendments that were put up as opposition, and I'm going to go through the specifics on those amendments. The Center on Budget and Policy Priorities noted that after the Senate Republicans unveiled its resolution earlier this month, that the budget framework lays a path for future budget bill that could pay for increased military and homeland security spending, with harmful policies that could take away food assistance and health coverage away from people who struggle to afford the basics and make college more expensive. Of course, Jeff Merkley, who's a senator, was saying that, billionaires will win under Republican budget resolution, talking about how there would be lots of cuts to food stamps, Medicaid, Medicare, all of that. This is the big paragraph I want to point out. Among the Democratic amendments that Senate Republicans rejected were proposals against legislation that would cut funding for school lunch and free school breakfast. There were amendments that was against legislation that would reduce and cut Medicare and Medicaid benefits. If a single dollar in Medicaid funding is cut, then we will not do tax cuts for the wealthy. I wouldn't do tax cuts for the wealthy anyway. That all being said, let's look at it. The way the Senate functions is you have a big bill, and during that session, anyone can propose an amendment to the bill. Democrats decided we're going to propose some amendments to this bill. The first amendment is this one right here. This was an amendment that said that we are against legislation that cuts funding for school lunch and school breakfast. So they were attempting to amend the bill so that there wouldn't be any cuts in school lunch or school breakfast. Look at how it is broken down by vote. 49 yays, saying yes, we are against legislation that cuts school lunch and school breakfast. And by the way, free school lunch and breakfast really helps alleviate child hunger. For anyone that is against programs to feed children and make sure that they have a meal, you're a cruel person. Why do you think that schools offer free meals when you have big testing periods? I remember going through elementary school, and during the EOGs, the end of grades, they would always give you free food. Why? Because hungry children cannot focus. Feeding kids is a great way to improve test scores, to improve performance. So if we really want to have an even smarter country, feed the kids. Goodness gracious. All that being said, this amendment was specifically pointing out, hey, we are against legislation that cuts funding for free school lunch and free school breakfast. 49 yays saying yes, we are against it. 51 nays saying no, we are for legislation that cuts school lunch, school breakfast. And look at the way that it is broken down. All the yays are Democrats. All the nays are Republicans. Yeah. Protecting the children from childhood hunger? No. Protecting the children from being fed is what it is. Now, there's another amendment. And if you are like, where are you getting this information? It's from the United States Senate website. Now, when you read it, it's like, okay, this is a lot to take in. But that's why I'm here, trying to break it down and make it easier to understand. This was another amendment that was put up. This amendment was put in there saying we are against legislation that cuts, reduces Medicaid and Medicare benefits for Americans. And you can see down here, I know it's kind of hard to see, 49 to 51, of course. All Democrats said, yes, we are against legislation that cuts Medicare and Medicaid for Americans. And Republicans say, no, we are for legislation that cuts Medicare and Medicaid for Americans. Both of my senators said they are for that amendment. Period, raw, end of story. Senator Ted Budd and Senator Tom Tillis. For anyone that votes Republican and you supposedly care about these things, these are what your lawmakers are doing. They're focusing on cutting things like food stamps, focusing on things like cutting Medicare and Medicaid. You want to say, oh, we need to get rid of the wasteful bloat in this country. Okay, let's start with the military budget. Let's start with the wasteful spending in our military budget. Nope, they increased the military budget. It's so dumb. Another one. The purpose of this amendment was to prevent tax cuts for the wealthy if a single dollar of Medicaid funding is cut. So they're saying, hey, if you cut Medicaid, then we're going to stop cuts for the wealthy. And you know what happened? Democrats were like, yeah, we're going to stop tax cuts for the wealthy if you cut Medicaid. And Republicans say, no, we want to cut Medicaid. That's what this is saying. The Trump administration is working hard to destroy medical research as we know it with an illegal, unrealistic cap on the National Institute of Health reimbursement rate for indirect costs, Senator Patty Murray, a Democrat from Washington, said. The sponsor of the later amendment said Friday. That would mean cancer researchers are laid off, life-saving clinical trials canceled, and more. And going further, the House Republican bill literally does what it can to eliminate SNAP benefits. There are a lot of people who are on food stamps and SNAP benefits that are Republican, that are in red states. Now, if I was a heartless person, I could say, FAFO, you F around and you find out you voted for these people, but I care about people getting the necessary materials they need to survive. I don't think that people really understand these red state voters that are on food stamps. Do you understand that your lawmakers just cut your food stamps? When they say fraud, waste, and abuse, they mean funding for working class people. They mean governmental help for folks who are low income. Their idea of fraud, waste, and abuse is helping working class people. That's what the Republicans mean. And of course, they will do everything they can to propagandize you to believing that fraud, waste, and abuse is something else. They want to go after programs that help people. They want to reward their billionaire buddies. That is their MO. That's what Republicans do. Don't fall for it. Don't be a glutton for punishment. But the new plan, to be marked up by the House Budget Committee on Thursday, contains instructions for the Agricultural Committee to slash $230 billion across programs under its purview, meaning work requirements and changes to state waivers. Cutting benefits to low-income families has been a point of tension with a handful of Republicans in competitive districts, who are warning against deep cuts across safety net programs ahead of the 2026 midterms. House Republicans' budget would mean higher costs, less help for families, and more tax windfalls for the wealthy. They're trying to cut Medicare and Medicaid, they're cutting food stamps, and they're increasing the military budget. That's what the Republicans do. And then they do tax cuts for the wealthy. If our government really wanted to help people, they wouldn't be giving handouts to massive billionaires. Yet that's what Republicans do. So that is my live show. That's everything that I prepared for today. So I love all of you so much. Y'all are incredible. Just remember that you are beautiful. You are loved. You are valid. You are strong. And you are fierce. Don't let anyone or anything ever, oh, Rochelle, Alexis, love you, dim your shine. Oh, thank you, Jenny, Sivar. Oh, y'all are so awesome. I love you all so much. Bye.